I know we're all super excited about the release of the lead object, but very important topic that I want to cover is the handoff between SDR or BDR and AE, right? Because leads make this really cool, but they also change this a bit, right? So let's talk about how we can do this. Because if you remember from taking a look at this, if I want to move a lead to qualified, right? So let's recap right here. We have our stages, right? So qualified falls under qualified. So if I have a lead that's qualified, then when I go to mark that lead is qualified, I'm going to be prompted to create a deal, right? So this would be a great handoff because then I can create a deal and I can make the deal owner the rep that I want to have it handed off to, and they can have an automation and know that, right? So that's great. They get to the final stage. But let's say that we don't want to create a deal at the handoff. Then what can we do? So here's what we can do, right? So two things here, right? Number one, you might also use a stage like sales accepted lead, and that might be really important to your reporting, to your commission structure, to everything, right? And since HubSpot is from first touch to first payment, we can now manage commissions and stuff in here as well, right? So this is important. So let's say that you want to mark them as qualified, but sales decides if there's a sales accepted lead. So then what I could do is using the new feature to book meetings on behalf of others, right? I can create a meeting. I can go to our rotation. I can book this meeting for Karen. And then what I can do is using a workflow that says anytime that a meeting exists with consult, let's say that's in the name, right? You would have to have a naming mechanism. Then we're going to set the lead to qualified. So then I don't have to worry about creating a deal because it's actually going to be done by the workflow. So it's not going to require me to create a deal when I update the lead stage to be qualified. So watch this. I'm going to choose Mandy T, and then we're going to grab this one because that's one of my leads, and we're going to enroll. Now watch what's going to happen here. So this workflow is going to update to qualified, and then what would happen is check this out. So we're going to give this a second to run. So let's go ahead and refresh. All right, so now this is qualified, right? So now that this is qualified, what I would do, the meeting's already been set. The AE already knows I didn't have to create the deal, right? And so now I could go ahead and change it over to be the owner of the right person. Now, let's say we don't want to make it qualified yet. Let's say we only want to let sales qualify the lead. Then what you would do is you'd go ahead and change the owner, because watch what happens here. When I change the owner of this lead, or let me go back over here, and I'm going to change the owner of this company, right? I am going to go ahead and let's take a look at what happens when we open this up, right? We see this here. We can see all the information. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I am going to go ahead and view this lead, right? So we can see the lead right here. I'm going to view the record. And then what we're going to see is that we can see that this is mine right now, right? Now, what I could do is I could say, okay, great. I've booked her a meeting. So I've connected with the person. Now I'm going to change the owner of this lead. And now it's going to be Jennifer's job, when she qualifies that lead to open a deal. Then what she'll do is she'll go to sales accepted lead, and then she'll create the deal manually, right? So these are a couple of ways when we're considering the lead object, how we can work around the handoff. And now watch what happens. Now that I move that lead to Jen, now that I change the company owner, now you're going to see that on my lead screen, that one's gone because I changed the company owner to Jen, okay? So super awesome, easy to manage your handoffs, and just think about this as in your strategy as you introduce a new object to it, but also a lot of fun functionality that'll allow more of your teams to work in the same platform.